Coming up tonight on the local game, we'll take a look at that Friday night fixture, which was raining goals. The Australia Cup fixtures are out, and we'll take a look at where our three clubs will be playing. Plus, we'll catch up with Dan Milovanovic from the Adelaide Comets ahead of their WNPL WSL Cup fixture on the weekend. Welcome to the local game. It is great to have you back once again. I am Johnny Keko alongside my regular co-host Ali Atkins. Good to have you back in the studio.
Thanks, Johnny. Always good to be here.
Well, we got a lot to get through today. We're going to talk about WNPL very soon. Unfortunately for you, you were in a very tough game on your side, but a very entertaining game for the neutrals. Myself, one of those. We'll discuss it a little bit later. We'll hold off on it. Just give you a bit more time to prepare for it. But let's head in to the hot topics for this week. Hot topic number one is, there's been some. It's getting towards the end of the season. This is where clubs really need to fight from relegation or try and make a change if they have to. And this is the last opportunity too. And we're seeing a lot of coaches being dismissed at this point. West Adelaide a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, with Michael Brooks, we've seen Jim Sakinis at Adelaide Victory get given the goodbye, and now Robbie Detroyer down at Cobras has left the club. So he's been there for a few years now and he's done well at the club, but unfortunately this season bit of a struggle. But he's had to say goodbye, and it's probably that this time of the season it's hard, but some clubs have to make that call.
Yeah, it's always tough losing coaches, and he has done a lot for that club, so it's disappointing, but it's what it is, I think.
And with their statement they put out, they did say he's always welcome back to the club, and I'm sure he will go back, which is hopefully the food down there is always great. So hopefully they can get the results. Hopefully they can get the results back that they wanted. But this is the time of the season, and that's football, unfortunately. We'll keep an eye on what else happens with coaches around the grounds as well. But topic number two. Let's head into that because that is more exciting. It is Cup football. Well, the draw for the Australia Cup is finally out. We know which teams now: LA United, Campbelltown and Modbury Jets, who they'll be facing. Let's take a look at that draw from last night. Well, it's an away trip for all three South Australian teams. Campbelltown City, they've drawn Moreton City Excelsior, so they'll be heading to Queensland for their match, whilst Modbury Jets will be heading over to Melbourne, the shortest trip. They'll take on FC Melbourne Serbia, who are in their third division in Victoria, and overall the lowest ranked remaining team in the round of 32. So that will be a massive match down there. Whilst LA United probably have picked the toughest team of the three, as they will be playing Blacktown City in New South Wales, currently third in the NPL in New South Wales. So a big three matches all the way this year for the Australia Cup. Well, I can't wait for those matchups. I always love the Australia Cup. It's the time where I can finally support my South Australian teams because I'm neutral in the local leagues, but now I can finally be a bit more patriotic in the Cup and have three teams to barrack.
Yeah, so good. I love it.
It is going to be fun, and then also great fun as well for the kids. Topic number three, we see LA United back getting ready. The A-League season just finished, but the next season's around the corner, and they're starting their preseason friendlies. So they are taking on Cove FC down at the Southern Soccer Facility on July 9th. So if you want to take your kids around, why not? Take them there. There'll be some player signings, I believe. They'll have merchandise booth, membership booth as well. So, and a game and food. So
fun. Great
chips. The good chips down there.
I love chips, my favourite.
Yeah, great chips down there. So make sure you head down, check it out. Take the kids if you're down in the south. It'll be a great occasion and great game of football. Cove FC taking on Adelaide United A-League men's team. So that will be fun for Tuesday night. And I believe it's school holidays at that point. I think it is. Actually, I think it is because I think I've got my nephews looking after them. So yes, it will be school holidays. So take them down to that. It's been a little while since I've been in school, almost 12 years now. So anyway, let's head into the football from the weekend. Well, it is the Go Sunny Solar WNPL. The results on the weekend, some biggish results in the league. just slightly biggish. We'll get on that real big one in a second. But let's take a look at those other Friday night fixtures as well. West Torrens Bacala, a 3-0 win over Adelaide Uni down at Service FM, which was followed by Adelaide Comets 4-2 over Salisbury Inter. Saturday's games, NTC, a 3-0 win over Flinders United, who unfortunately haven't had the greatest season so far in results. They've had 3 wins so far, but 5 losses. They're on 12 points at the moment on the ladder. But Metro United, a 4-0 loss to West Adelaide. West Adelaide are just too strong of a team this year, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing very well. They are a quality side.
They are. Well, a quality side that we've seen some good form from, and they would have been third if they won on the weekend, is Adelaide City, your side. We've seen, I know you don't like talking about it, you try to avoid talking about it, but we're here to talk football. A big result on the weekend for Sturt. They haven't scored, this is round 11, they haven't scored since round 4. Sorry, I'm just digging it deeper, but this against you guys, it probably wasn't expected. What do you think went wrong? Was it mentality for you guys thinking it was an easy win, or was it just obviously the weather was shocking that night as well?
Yeah, I do really think the weather had a lot to do with it. It was hard out there. And I think a lot of goals that Sturt scored came from mistakes, just simple mistakes at the back. And then, it was a fight. It's hard to say. I think concentration as well, came into play.
Did it rattle you when you, like obviously when they came back and scored 2, and it was 3-2 at one point, did that rattle you guys a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think it was just frustrating because I believe we were dominant most of the game. We were creating scoring great goals, keeping the ball majority of the game, and then one little thing would happen and then they scored.
Yep.
So it was just frustrating, honestly. But credit to Sturt, they did a good job getting the goals.
Yeah, and they've kept on fighting. A team like they haven't scored in so long. They played well last year, but this year, obviously, a newish squad, new coach, and a new level of football as well for them to come up against.
Yeah.
So they've got some quality there, but obviously it's a hard ask to come up, especially when it's been 6 weeks or so that they haven't scored in a game, to do that and just do it the way they did. I know it's hard for you to talk about because you're on the receiving game. Anyone on the receiving game would be like that. But you guys have come out and score those 2 early goals within, I think it was 2-0 down after 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like we came out firing. So a big credit to Sturt. They didn't stop for 90 minutes and they got it. Talking
about them quickly, we'll talk about the upcoming fixtures this weekend, but that is the cup round. They're in that cup round still. So despite not winning an actual game in the WNPL, they are in the semi-finals. They've won where it matters for them in winning some silverware. Do you reckon this is the best confidence going into that match against NTZ for them?
Yeah, the last result is so important going into this semi-final for them. They're just going to be on a high. If they can keep that momentum, who knows what will happen. Like magic of the cup, as we always say.
We do.
And in the WNPL, I feel like anything can happen. Bottom teams can have a great game and then get over those really top clubs. So who knows what will happen.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens there. But just quickly on your goal scorer as well. Bujado, she came on in the second half. She scored 2 off the bench. She didn't start the first half. Is that a resting for any reason? Or?
Well, she's been sick all week. So she actually didn't train once all week. And we had another player in the same boat. So we did have a few under the weather injuries going on in our team. So it was great for her to come on and score those 2, even though she'd not been out on the park all week. So she's an amazing player.
Well, it was good to see, but it was freezing down there. I was absolutely drenched commentating in the scaffold with
you were drenched.
David Grant. Yeah, I can imagine you guys were, but you're running around. You're nice and warm, at least. I was freezing there. My notes from all my 5 years worth of notes were drenched, so I was worried I was going to lose them all. And credit to our camera operator as well, Chris, who was up there braving the elements. All he had was an umbrella just to protect the gear, just so it can go to air. So, hey, he did that, and he was standing on the tarp, which protected us commentators from the water, which didn't work well when the water was coming on an angle. But anyway, that's local football for you.
Yeah, it's amazing you guys seriously go out and do all of that. Like, we players really appreciate it. You don't need to be there. You don't need to be doing this, but you do it for the game and for us, and we really appreciate it as players.
We love it. And then that night there was actually awesome to be a part of those moments like that.
Yeah.
I know for you guys it wasn't, but to add that extra atmosphere to it, hopefully everyone enjoys it. And actually, if you do want to get involved as well, there are opportunities. So just reach out. You can reach out to us. So me, I'll point you in the right direction because it'll be good to have more voices out there. We are getting more voices, which has been great this season.
Yeah, amazing.
Look forward to it. So maybe get you out there commentating soon as well.
Maybe.
Well, we might hear you soon. But anyway, go rest your voice. I'm going to rest mine because it's time for a break. We're back on the other side to look at the state leagues. Don't go anywhere. It's the local game. Welcome back to the local game. Well, it's time to get into the state leagues now. Let's have a look at those results from the State League 1. Well, it was a jam-packed Saturday of football where we saw some great results for Cumberland United, 1-0 win over the Vipers, a draw with Playford and Sturt. Battle of the West saw West Torrens Bacala get a 2-1 win over Western Strikers, whilst Adelaide Victory, a 2-4 loss to Salisbury United. But it's that sad one for Robbie Detroit. His final game, a 3-0 loss to West Adelaide, who have found some form under the new coach, El Pala, who took over Michael Brooks. Obviously, a change of hands with Michael Brooks has made a little bit of a difference now with El Pala taking over. And they've had two wins in their last 2 games for West Adelaide.
Yeah, it's good for them. Bring it back up.
Yeah, hopefully add a bit of confidence to the team as well. But talking about confidence, it'd definitely be shattered for the other game, which was a massive win for Adelaide Blue Eagles. But on the other hand, the shattered confidence in Fulham United, a 4-0 loss to that side. That's for a younger side in them in some of those players, it'd be hard to deal with something like that, especially losing that big margin.
Yeah, agreed. It was a bit of a rough result there and didn't look that great.
And what about the goals? They were not amazing goals, but you can see a lot of errors from Fulham, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly, which is always disappointing.
And we talk about Adelaide Blue Eagles as well. They're back in their winning ways after 3 losses, 1 draw from their last 4. Whilst Fulham, they haven't scored in their last 5 losses, which is 5 out of the last 6. So they've only had 1 win in their last 6 matches. But in those 5 they lost, they haven't scored. So hopefully Robbie Saraceno can get some form for the boys. But I know this year was meant to be a building year, so they started off with some really good success. I think they're underestimated by a lot of teams. But we'll see how they can go for the rest of the season. As long as they can stay up and maybe hopefully potentially make finals. We'll see what happens. But a 4-0 loss, not great for their confidence. But anyway, let's head into the State League 2, where some confidence was shattered and gained from some sides. Let's take a look at those results now. Well, Port Adelaide get a 3-2 win over Gawler Eagles at home, whilst Cofer C's game was washed out on the weekend when they were supposed to play Eastern United. So that game will be postponed to a later date. Adelaide Hills Hawks, a 2-4 loss at home to Northern Demons, who has to make a massive trek down there, plus a 5-1 win for the Pontian Eagles over Seaford. And LA Uni, a 2-1 loss to Modbury Vista, which is disappointing for them. Their second loss of the season, which now they have jumped down to second place due to goal difference. Pontian Eagles have just flown up and snatched the top spot away from him.
I like that.
Well, it's they would be a little bit disappointed in that. They've had a great run for the season, and now this end bit, they've got to fight hard now to try and get back up there. And that loss isn't a great one for them. But a win for someone huge is Mount Barker United, a 3-1 win over Noarlunga. That is great for the confidence. I know Alessio Carocci, who's a co-host on here, was excited to get the win on the weekend. And I did message him because their next game is against Seaford this weekend. So if they can beat Seaford in this weekend's match, well, then that means they'll be on equal points with them on ninth place. So 9th, 10th place, but due to goal difference, I'll be below them. However, that's we talk about confidence. I think that's the key word in today's episode. That would be fantastic for their confidence to try and hopefully aim to try and get into finals football, which would only be like 2 wins away, which is reachable for them.
Definitely doable. There's enough games in the season, which would be amazing for them and record breaking for them too.
Yeah, that would be massive if they could do that, but there's still a long task ahead. Seaford will be a tough game to play in, but we'll see how they go. They'll love to get a back-to-back win. Don't believe they've done that yet. We'll see. We'll find out. Alessio will definitely tell us. And he'll definitely be on next week if he does get the win on the weekend. Well, let's look at the last state league of the round, and that is the WSL, the Women's State League. Some big, massive score lines. 11-0 loss for Cove FC. That is a shocking one, especially with the coach. She's known for winning cups, especially in the WNPL. She was there last year with West Adelaide. Tracy Jenkins, 11-0 loss. That's a massive scoreline.
Yeah, it is massive. I mean, State League is always a hard one to coach.
And you talk about also another one which has been mentioned on Twitter as well by a few people that watch the league, a powerhouse in Fulham United. It just really shows that when you do drop from WNPL down to WSL, it's a hard ask to come back up. And they're very much showing it because they are second to bottom now. And they lost 2-1 on the weekend to Western Strikers, who are a newish side.
Yeah, exactly. It is always hard going down to the State League from the Premier League. Unfortunately, I feel they lose a lot of players and it can be really hard to work your way back up losing that. So, yeah, disappointing for Fulham.
Yeah, as a club, it would be disappointing for them to be in that situation, especially where they were a few years back with some of the big players that went on to play in the A-League and all that as well.
Yeah, they used to be one of the top teams in the top division. So
yeah, hopefully they can turn it around in the next couple of years, the rebuilding stage. But just shows the big gap there as well. But WSL, it's Campbelltown is just gonna hopefully looks like the way it's gonna go. They're gonna take it out sweetly.
Yeah,
but,
it looks like we'll be seeing them next year, I reckon.
Yeah, potentially. But you never know. If football's a funny game, anything can happen. Just keep it locked on the local game to find out exactly what happens with the results each week. Well, ahead of the Cup game this weekend, I caught up with the head coach of Comets FC in the Go Sunny Solar WNPL. I'm down here with Dan Milovanovic from the Adelaide Comets WNPL. Mate, congratulations, you're in the semi-final this weekend. How are you feeling ahead of the big game against West Adelaide?
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. I'm really, really excited for it. To be honest, it's been a long season already, pre-season, pre-season couple, that sort of thing. So to be in a cup semi-final at this point in the year is absolutely brilliant. West Adelaide's probably the team we're hoping to get in the final, but you've got to play everyone at some point. So our girls, we're ready for it, we're excited for it, and we're prepped.
They're probably the hardest team out of the last 4 left. How have you prepped for this game, especially how dominant they've been this season?
We've not done anything too drastic to what we'd normally do. So, as I've said before, the WNPL, no game's easy. We've beat West Adelaide before and we've lost to other teams before. So, we approach it how we do every week. We apply ourselves the best we can and we believe in ourselves.
This is your first year in the WNPL with Comets this year. You came from South Adelaide last year. How are you finding the transition?
It's been really easy. So, at first, I wasn't sure after such a long period of time how it would go going from South to Comets, but the community's been fantastic. We've got fantastic support behind the scenes with Arthur and John, the team, the players, the coaching staff, everyone's been brilliant. And the support from board level down to junior level, everyone gets around you, everyone really makes a difference. So,
and also talking about initiatives as well at the club, I see Comets do a lot of different things for the women's game as well. There's something new going on at the moment that you've implemented with the juniors and the seniors players. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've spoken, myself and the girls delegate, Kayla, spoke a lot, and it's fantastic seeing the Matildas be these role models for girls coming through, but we wanted to do something more. So we spoke to our senior leadership group and we've made it compulsory that everyone from the first team is out doing sessions, out there on game day with under 9s, 13s, 15s, 17s. And it's just to create a little bit of leadership through the club, a little bit of support from in both directions, because we're always asking for the juniors to step up. So it's important for the seniors to give something back. And the outcome of it has been brilliant so far. The enthusiasm, the senior girls are absolutely loving it. They're enjoying the sessions. They're hanging to go back and do it again. So it's been an experience.
And how are the little ones enjoying it? They being excited to see the older players come join them?
They are, and some nights, on Wednesday nights, the junior teams will come in for dinner while we're still training, and it's got to the point where we'll quite often have 10, 15 of them on the balcony yelling us on as we train, so that's awesome to see.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to see. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see how it all pans out, and if you'll be making the final or not.
I hope we will, but thanks for coming down, especially on such a wet and rainy night.
Brilliant. All the best.
Cheers, Johnny.
We're back on the other side with your NPL updates, plus what's coming up on the weekend. Welcome back to the local game. Well, football is life for some people, and you might be up at early mornings watching the Euros at the moment. But if you're not watching the NPL, you got something wrong with you, because there was some great football on the weekend. Before, normally we go into the results straight away, but before we do that, let's kick it off a little bit different with what I think is a really good goal from Friday night's game. Francesca's goal. Let's have a look at that one. What a crack that was.
So good.
In a game that had a 1-1 draw, but also down to 10 men for both sides. Absolutely incredible there on the weekend. On Friday night football, you can't get any better than that. Just with Francesca scoring the equaliser after Matt Mullen and also Nagamatsu both being sent off earlier in that first half as well. But let's head to the remaining results from the weekend. Saturday action, South Adelaide, a surprise 3-1 win over the Adelaide Croatia Raiders. A massive one down there. Huge for their confidence. And, you'd say they're going to be relegated. Most people have already put them in that point. But after FK Belgrade's performance against Adelaide City on the weekend as well, they lost 1-0. You'd say they'd be putting a little bit of pressure on them, but they got still 3 games behind them. But that still could put that bit of pressure if Belgrade and Adelaide Olympic don't find any form, and South Adelaide do find some points somehow in these last remaining of the season. They could put some pressure on those teams to battle for that relegation spot.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Don't think it's hard. A lot of people have mathematically said it's not, or it is mathematically possible, but it will be a big ask for them to do. But a win on the weekend, let's just look at that though. That is fantastic for them. A 3-1 win. Para Hills, 2-2 draw with Adelaide Comets. Adelaide United, once again, almost a 4-4 draw once again, but a 4-3 loss to them after the 2 weeks in a row, which was a 4-4 draw. That is incredible. What is that? 8, 16, 23 goals in 3 games.
Yeah,
wow.
That's crazy.
That is nuts. But let's talk about that game on the weekend now. It rounded out the final round of round 15. That is the LA City win against FK Belgrade. A big win for them. That's 5 from 5 now. We thought they were in that relegation zone. We saw what they did, getting 5 wins in a row, and how that's put them now. If you look at it realistically, then within a chance to play for that top spot as well now. We're in the top 4 potentially as well. They're only a few points away now. You're close to it. What do you reckon that turning point was inside that's been able to get them 5 from 5?
Yeah, I reckon after getting the first 2 in a row, first 2 wins back to back, it just, that confidence thing again really stepped up for the boys, and then they've just been riding that high. And then, that table is so close. So they've done great to make it back up into a really good position. And from here, if we keep this streak, if the City boys keep this streak, they can go right up there, I reckon.
They definitely can. And, I'm excited to see what Raphael Leai can do from Solomon Islands, 20-year-old striker. Yeah. I watched the game against New Zealand that he was playing in. They lost 3-0 in that game. However, for most of it, I was driving, so I was just listening to it, and all I could hear was his name being mentioned a lot of times from the commentator. And I think from what I saw, he's an exciting player, so I can't wait to see what he does and what he brings to Adelaide City, which is going to be exciting because we've seen what these Oceanic players have brought so far, the quality. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring.
Yeah, I think he's going to be amazing and he's going to score goals, and that's what they need. Well,
let's have a look. He'll be back soon after he's done with his international duties, but let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. This is what's coming up this weekend. Will any of them tickle your fancy? I think for me, looking at that this weekend, Metro Stars LA United it's always a good game down there at TK Shutter Reserve. However, I think the Comets FK Belgrade one will also be good. I'll be down there for that one. Down at Service FM Stadium. That one there, Adelaide Comets got their first loss for a very long time against FK Belgrade. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out down there. I'm looking forward to seeing how they go. They lost. Comets beat them in the cup knockouts in the quarterfinals, I believe it was. So it's one apiece so far this year. So this third one we'll find out. I'm looking forward. It's always a good game between those two. So that is this weekend's action. So head down to those. Let's take a look at the women's football this weekend. There's no WNPL or WSL. It's cup football this weekend. Semi-finals. First of all, they're both at Service FM Stadium. First of all, NTC Sturt Lions, followed by West Adelaide Comets. I'm interested to see both of those games. They're going to be very good. I think West Adelaide Comets is going to be a huge contest.
Massive.
Yeah, and I think it's a great draw as well because equally balanced, I think, the way going into this game. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I actually think it could go either way. Both games could go either way. I think NTC are actually a great side, but who knows, like we said, with Sturt coming off that massive draw, they could have it. And then Comets West, two amazing teams. So that could also go either way.
It definitely could. Well, head down there if you can on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of good football on there. Look forward to it. I can't wait to see who makes their way into the cup final, the WNPL WSL Cup. Could be huge.
Yeah,
Anyway, well, before we head off, Antonis Pagonis from Front Page Football with Press for Time.
Johnny, a South Australian flavour in a huge shock in New South Wales as league leaders Rockdale lose 9-0 to 5th placed Marconi. And of course, doing the damage for Marconi, South Australian Dom Costanza with a hat-trick, 3 goals in the first half. Former NPLSA player James Timokovsky also getting 2 of the 9.
Thanks for that, Antonis. Well, thank you, Ali, for joining me once again. It's good to have you back in. Hopefully next time, for your sake, you're not coming off the back of a 12-goal thriller.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, it was a long season still to go. But enjoy your football this weekend. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your weekend off.
Yes, I'll be out watching.
Yes, definitely. Well, have a great one. You guys have a great one. We'll see you all next week for our last episode in the teams, episode 19. Have a great one.